ICCT Online Learnings. I'm Richmond Loraez, your instructor for today. So today, our topic is all about Chapter 10, Crime Scene. So we have the objectives, develop understanding the crime scene processing. So what is crime scene? So crime scene is said to be the treasure island in criminal investigation. It is because several pieces of evidence are mostly found in the crime scene, which are truly relevant for the solution of the crime. So crime scene is the venue or place where essential ingredients of the criminal act took place. It includes the setting of the crime and also the adjoining places of entry and exit of both offender and victim. So we have here the types of crime scene. So the first one, as to location. So we have three types of as to location in the crime scene. So the first one is indoor crime scene. This crime scene tells that the offender committed the crime in an enclosed place. Crime could have been committed in a room or inside the house, but not necessarily the house of the victim. So next one, outdoor crime scene. So this crime scene is located in an open area. It could be inside the vehicle, airship, and vessel. So next one, we have here the continuing or running crime scene. So this crime scene has mixed location from indoor to outdoor or vice versa, or continuing outdoor alone, or from one place to another of the same jurisdiction, or from one place crossing to another area of jurisdiction. Okay, so next one we have here the as to the time of commission. So when we say daytime crime scene, this type of crime scene refers to a crime committed from sunrise to sunset. And while nighttime crime scene, so this type of crime scene refers to a committed from sunset to sunrise. So we have here the crime scene or investigation or the CSI. It refers to a comprehensive inquiry of a crime scene by conducting systematic procedures of various investigative methodologies which involve recovery of physical evidence and testimonial evidence for the purpose of identifying the witnesses and arrest of perpetrators for prosecution. CSI shall technically commence upon the arrival of the first responders and conclude with the lifting on the security cordon and release on the crime scene by the investigator on case. So next, we have here the duties of the crime scene responder. So the first one we have here, the team leader or officer in charge, the one who directs the processing of the crime scene. The second one, the assistant team leader, the one who takes, implements, or executes the orders coming from his or her superiors. So next one, we have the photographer, the one who takes photographs of all pieces of evidences that are relevant to the crime committed. So next one, number 4, the sketchers, the one who make the sketches of immediate background and inside the scene of the crime. So next we have here the master note taker, the one who writes down in shorthand all observation at the crime scene, such as weather condition, time of dispatch, and time of arrival at the crime scene, and other relevant data that should be noted. So next we have here the evidence man, the one in charge in the collection, preservation, tagging of articles of evidences found at the crime scene. So next we have here the measurer, the one who makes all relevant measurements of the scene, such as the distance of the body of the victim to the firearm used in motor vehicle collision in the distances of two vehicle of 2 points of references. So next, we have here the security. They are tasked to protect the crime scene before, during, and immediate after release of the crime scene. So next, we have here the driver. This refers to any personnel assigned to operate the mobile car during response. So those are the duties of the crime scene responder. So next, we have here the equipment in the crime scene responding. So the first one, we have the searching tools like flashlights, magnifier, and etc. So next one, we have here the sketching measurements. So measuring devices like compass, steel paper, ruler, and etc. Recording material like chalk, wrapping paper, sketching pad, clipboard, paperboard, and etc. Next one is collection of evidence, such as cutting pliers, knife, screw device, dropper, forceps, fingerprint equipment, and etc. So next, preserving materials. So for example, container like bottles, envelope, test tubes, pins, tomes, tacks, and etc. Label and seal or evidence tags like gum label, sealing wax, grease, and pencil, and etc. So next one, we have here the contamination control. Once the crime scene is confident of the scene scope, the team should act to further isolate the crime scene. Initial perimeters are often single barrier, leaving little, if any, buffer between the crime scene and on the lockers. Okay. So next one, we have here the crime scene processing methodology. So first step or step number one is the initial notification. As the initial responder, the investigator must document the information that is presented to him or her. So first there is who contacted them. Next one is what they are told of. And letter C, how did the individual come to know information. So remember that the call you got is not the call you get. Expect the unexpected, but also know where the discrepancies began. Okay, so next one we have the step number two, coordination assessment and team call out. Assesses the situation. It is this my jurisdiction? How complex is the scene? What are needed? Who are needed here? So next one is step number three, conduct initial observations. Conduct an initial scan of the scene. Specifically look for the central theme items, primary focal points, victims, fragile evidences, avenues of entries or exit, secondary scenes. Act on the fragile evidence immediately. Take action before it is lost. So next one, we have the step number three. We have here the step number four. Deal with the disease. Check apparent disease victim for signs of life. Identify anyone who may have already examined victims. Coordinate the ME investigator and examination. Make note of any action taken during this examination that altered the body. So next one, we have the step number five, photograph of the scene. Once life-saving or death verifying is complete, the scene is stable with no further reason to violate or alter it. Photographs of the scene as it is with both still and video. Concentrate on photographs that let the viewer see the overall context and condition. So next one, the step number six, document overall observation. Unlike the initial scan, this is an in-depth observation and description of the scene. Requires a walkthrough but without altering anything since sketching and mapping have not been completed. So next one, step number seven, sketches the scene. Create rough sketch the scene that includes room and openings with dimension, furniture with dimension, evidence item with fixing measurements, and support the actual sketch with written outs of measurements. So step number eight, conduct a first recheck. Up to this point, all obvious evidence and the scene features have been noted. Photograph and sketch, visually recheck the scene, ensure that no items or critical observation were overlooked. So next one, the step number nine, release the body. Release the body from the scene to appropriate authorities. At this move, examine the body, being sure to document all surface before post-incident bleeding occurs. Example, bleeding in a body bag. Check the body with an ALS for easily disclosed hairs, fibers, or other trace evidence. Preserve fragile evidence by bagging exposed hand or feet. And step number 10, collect the evidence. Collect all evidence items that were already located and documented. Examine each item for additional trace evidence. If necessary, take additional photographs to document close-up detail. Ensure each item is fully documented on the evidence custody form. And step number 7, conduct a second check. All known evidence has been safely containerized and removed from the scene. Second, recheck and involve for more intrusive action, including checking surface with ALS, fingerprinting walls and other scene surface, and exploratory searches and movement of furniture. And step number 12, conduct a third check. Verify all areas of the scene which were perhaps overlooked. Conduct rechecks until these are negative. And step number 13, check beyond the scene. Check the scene perimeter and outlying areas to ensure that no secondary scene were overlooked. Good time follows blood trails if present, using both visual and chemical. Example, luminol techniques. So next one, step number 14, conduct an on-site debriefing. Before releasing the scene, spend a few moments with entire team reviewing and discussing the action taken. And step number 15, release the scene. Release the scene to appropriate individual. This can only be done after you are confident that all activities are complete. And step number 16, process and package all evidences. On scene collection may require temporary evidence container. Package all evidence for the long term as soon as practical, which may include drying of bloody objects. And last step, which is the step 17, conduct a formal debriefing. The debriefing should involve all available parties, including the ME investigator, initial responding officer, investigators, and crime scene technicians. Revisit basic information and action taken. The debriefing helps eliminate investigative red herrings and focus investigative efforts. So that is the end of our chapter 10. So thank you.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.